Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you today to share a powerful truth. God prepares you for new opportunities in ways that go beyond your understanding. So many of us seek the next big thing, the next opportunity, the next breakthrough. But we must remember that divine preparation is a process, not a single moment. God prepares us for new opportunities not in one moment, but over time, through a continual process of growth, transformation, and divine shaping. Often, we are eager to see the next great opportunity materialize, whether in our careers, relationships, or personal lives, and we wish for a quick answer, a sudden breakthrough. But God's way is different. Opportunities don't just appear out of nowhere. They emerge as a result of the preparation that happens within us long before we ever recognize the moment. When we look at our lives, we often fail to see how much of what we have gone through has been part of a divine preparation. The challenges we face, the struggles we endure, and the moments of testing, all these experiences play a critical role in shaping us for the future opportunities that lie ahead. It is easy to overlook these moments, especially when they seem mundane or difficult. But in reality, it is within the ordinary and the challenging that we are being molded for something greater. For example, think about the seemingly small decisions and actions you take each day. The time you spend learning, refining your skills, and overcoming difficulties might not look like preparation for a major opportunity, but it is. Often God's preparation comes in the form of life's everyday rhythms, the unnoticed steps that eventually lead to a powerful transformation. The steady discipline in your work, the quiet moments of faith in times of uncertainty, and even the mistakes you make, all contribute to shaping the person you need to be in order to step into new opportunities when they arrive. The process of divine preparation is also not without its hardships. We all go through trials and face struggles that seem unfair or unnecessary at the time. But these are not obstacles that block the road to our purpose. Instead, they are the very tools that God uses to refine us. Like a sculptor chiseling away at a block of marble, God uses life's difficulties to shape our character, strengthen our resolve, and help us grow. Without these struggles, we wouldn't develop the perseverance, wisdom, or patience necessary for the next phase of our lives. Without the hard seasons, we wouldn't appreciate the value of the opportunities that are coming. It's easy to think that God's preparation would be a quick and dramatic process. After all, when we pray for new opportunities, we often want immediate answers. But divine preparation is not a quick fix. It's a journey. Sometimes we will find ourselves in seasons of waiting, wondering why it feels like things are moving slowly or not at all. During these times, it's crucial to understand that God is not absent, nor is He ignoring us. He is at work, molding us in ways that we may not fully comprehend at the time. Think about how a seed is prepared to grow into a tree. A seed doesn't just appear as a fully grown tree. It goes through stages of development. It spends time buried in the soil, growing roots and gathering nutrients. The process may seem slow, even hidden beneath the surface, but every moment is essential for its growth. Similarly, God's work in our lives is often happening beneath the surface, in the quiet spaces where we cannot see. He is laying a foundation that will sustain us when we finally step into those opportunities He's preparing us for. In our impatience, we may even doubt that God is working at all. We look at others who seem to have immediate success and wonder why we're not there yet. But God's preparation isn't about comparing timelines. It's about ensuring that we are ready, not just for the opportunity itself, but for the responsibility and impact that will come with it. Opportunities come with demands on our time, energy, emotions, and resources. If we are not properly prepared, those opportunities could overwhelm us or cause us to stumble. But when God prepares us, He ensures that we can handle the weight of what's ahead, giving us the strength, wisdom, and resilience to thrive in the new season. Sometimes the preparation can be difficult to understand. It might feel like you're stuck in a season of waiting, or that your efforts are going unnoticed. But trust that even in the quiet, seemingly uneventful moments, God is working. The preparation may not be visible to the naked eye, but it is happening. You are growing, developing, and being shaped for the future. God's timing is always perfect, And His preparation ensures that when the opportunity finally arrives, you will be ready to step into it with confidence, equipped with all that you need. In the end, the most important thing we can do is trust the process. Trust that God is using every experience, every challenge, and every moment of growth to prepare us for the opportunities that are on the horizon. Opportunities don't just appear out of nowhere. They are the result of God's careful and loving preparation in our lives. When we understand this, we can rest in the assurance that God is at work, preparing us for something greater than we can imagine. All we need to do is be patient, stay faithful, and trust that the best is yet to come. Transformation through trials is one of the most powerful aspects of God's preparation process. It's often hard for us to understand, but difficulties and setbacks are not just random or unfortunate events. They're divine tools, carefully used by God to shape our character, build our faith, and develop our resilience. When we face challenges, it's easy to see them as hindrances, as things standing in the way of our progress. But in God's economy, these very challenges are working for us, not against us. We live in a world that often prioritizes comfort and success, and we're conditioned to view struggle as a sign of failure. However, the Bible teaches us a completely different perspective. Trials are not only inevitable in the life of a believer, they are necessary. They are the forge where our spiritual strength is built. God allows these challenges to come into our lives because He understands that they are the very things that prepare us for the greater opportunities that lie ahead. Think about gold, for instance. To turn raw gold into a precious, valuable metal, it must first go through a refining process. The gold is placed in fire, where impurities are burned away, leaving behind only the pure metal. In the same way, God allows us to experience trials to refine us. These trials test our faith, but they also strengthen it. They force us to rely on God in ways that comfort and success never would. Without difficulty, we would never discover the depth of God's strength and provision. Our faith would remain shallow, unable to withstand the greater tests of life that come with new opportunities. Every trial that we face, whether it's a personal struggle, a professional setback, or a painful loss, has the potential to shape us into the person we need to become. In those moments of difficulty, we are not defeated, rather we are being transformed. The difficulties we experience force us to grow, to stretch beyond our current capacity, and to become stronger and more capable. Our character is refined and our faith is deepened. What might seem like an obstacle is really a divine opportunity to grow into someone who is ready for what God has in store. This is where our resilience comes into play. Life's trials build our endurance and perseverance. The more we endure, the stronger we become. It is through these tests that we learn not to rely on our own strength, but on God's power. In fact, the Apostle Paul, in Corinthians 12:9-10, reminds us that in our weakness, His power is made perfect. Our struggles show us our limitations, but they also open our eyes to the boundless strength that God offers. This resilience, born out of trials, becomes a crucial part of our preparation for greater things. When new opportunities come, we are not easily shaken because we have learned through hardship how to stand firm in faith, trusting that God is with us every step of the way. We can also learn to appreciate how trials shape our character. God is less concerned with our external success and more focused on who we are becoming on the inside. Character is the foundation on which new opportunities are built. Without a strong, godly character, success can be fleeting and hollow. But when our character is solid, when we have been tested and found true, we are ready to carry the weight of new opportunities. Opportunities are often tied to the responsibility of leading, serving, or influencing others. If we haven't been transformed through our trials, we may not have the integrity or wisdom to handle the responsibilities that come with those opportunities. Furthermore, we often think that we need to be perfect to seize new opportunities. But God is not looking for perfection. He is looking for someone who is humble enough to trust Him even when the road is hard. When we go through trials, we develop empathy and compassion, two qualities that are vital for building relationships and leading effectively. Having walked through fire, we are able to reach out to others who are going through similar challenges, offering support, encouragement, and wisdom that we have gained along the way. It's also important to remember that the trials we face are not just for our personal growth. They are part of a larger purpose. God uses our struggles to prepare us to impact others. As we grow stronger through trials, we also learn how to help others in their own struggles. The very experiences that refine us can become the testimony that encourages and equips others to endure their own difficulties. We are not isolated in our struggles. God uses our personal challenges to prepare us to be a source of strength to those around us. In this way, our trials don't just prepare us for new opportunities, they position us to be a blessing to others. Ultimately, every trial we face is a divine opportunity in disguise. They may seem like setbacks at the moment, but in reality they are preparing us for the great things God has for us. When we step into new opportunities, we do so with the strength, resilience, and character that God has built within us through our trials. We become more than conquerors, not because we never faced hardship, but because we have learned to overcome it. And when the time comes for us to step into new opportunities, we will be ready. Not because of our own abilities, but because God has used every trial to prepare us for something greater. So, the next time you face a trial, remember, it is not a hindrance but a divine tool. God is shaping you, refining you, and preparing you for the greater things that lie ahead. And when those opportunities come, you will be ready, not because the road has been easy, but because God has used every struggle to build you into the person you need to be. Vision is one of the most powerful gifts that God provides us in our journey through life. It is the ability to see beyond the present circumstances and catch a glimpse of what lies ahead. God places vision in our hearts, showing us what He has planned for us in the future. This vision ignites passion and purpose, stirring us to move forward towards something greater. However, while vision is essential, clarity is just as important. Clarity comes through alignment with God's will, and it is this alignment that ensures we can recognize and seize the opportunities He places before us. God doesn't just give us a general sense of direction. He gives us vision for the specific path He wants us to take. Vision is what drives us. It gives us hope and purpose when the journey gets tough. But vision alone isn't enough. Without clarity, vision can become a distant dream, unclear and unreachable. That is why it's essential to align our hearts and minds with God's will. Clarity comes when we seek God's direction, understanding that His vision for us is always higher and more perfect than anything we could imagine on our own. As we align ourselves with His will, we begin to see the steps we need to take, the opportunities that align with our purpose, and the doors that are opening in front of us. One of the greatest mistakes we can make is to live without a clear understanding of where God is leading us. Without vision, we are like a ship without a rudder, tossed back and forth by the currents of life. We may be busy, but we aren't going anywhere significant. Opportunities may come and go, but without vision and clarity, we might not even recognize them when they do. How many times in life have we looked back and realized that opportunities were right in front of us, but we were too distracted or unsure of our purpose to see them? God's vision for us isn't just a vague hope for success. It's a specific plan, woven with purpose that leads to fulfillment. As we gain clarity on this vision, we start to understand not only where we're going, but how we're supposed to get there. This understanding gives us the confidence to take the necessary steps, even when the road ahead seems uncertain. It gives us the strength to make decisions, to say no to distractions, and to stay focused on the opportunities that align with God's plan for our lives. When we have clarity, we begin to recognize that every opportunity is not for us. In fact, some doors may open, but not every opportunity will align with God's purpose for us. Clarity enables us to distinguish between what is part of God's plan for us and what is a detour. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of opportunities and new possibilities, but when we are aligned with God's vision, we are able to recognize those opportunities that are aligned with our calling and purpose. Think about how athletes or artists train for their big opportunities. They don't just wait for the moment to come. They prepare with a clear vision of what they want to accomplish. They stay focused, work hard, and develop the skills necessary to seize their moment when it arrives. Similarly, in our lives, God gives us the vision, but it's up to us to prepare. Clarity allows us to prepare effectively. It's like reading the map before we embark on the journey. Without a clear understanding of where we are going, we may waste time and energy on things that don't matter. Clarity also comes through prayer and seeking God's guidance. As we spend time in His presence, we open ourselves to His direction. Through His Word and through moments of reflection, God begins to sharpen our vision, providing the clarity we need to move forward. When we pray for understanding, we invite God to reveal more of His plan for us. We begin to see with spiritual eyes, not just physical ones. This clarity empowers us to make bold decisions and trust that God is leading us toward the opportunities He has prepared. In the Bible, God spoke to His people and gave them vision. He told Abraham, "Go to the land I will show you," and that vision led to a journey of faith and trust in God's guidance. Abraham didn't have all the details up front, but he had clarity in the sense that he knew God was leading him. Similarly, Moses was given a vision of leading the Israelites out of slavery, even though the full picture wasn't clear at first. God provides vision, but He also provides the clarity to step out in faith, knowing that He will guide us one step at a time. Moreover, vision is not just for our personal benefit. As we gain clarity on God's purpose for our lives, we realize that His plan includes not just our own success, but the ability to impact the world around us. The opportunities we recognize are not just for our own growth. They are opportunities to serve others, to influence the world for good, and to fulfill God's greater purpose. As we align our vision with God's will, we understand that He is opening doors for us to walk through, not just for our benefit, but for His glory. In conclusion, vision is the spark that ignites our journey, and clarity is the path that leads us to the opportunities that God has for us. Without vision, we cannot see what God has prepared for us. Without clarity, we cannot recognize the opportunities He places before us. As we seek God's will and align ourselves with His plan, we gain the clarity needed to walk confidently into the opportunities He has set in our path. When we see clearly, we are not just living for today, we are moving toward a future filled with purpose, opportunities, and the fulfillment of God's promises. New opportunities often bring with them great excitement, but they also come with significant responsibility. Whether in our careers, relationships, or spiritual journeys, stepping into new opportunities requires more than just external skills or external preparation. It demands a strong, resilient inner foundation, one that has been built over time through God's divine process of growth and development. God uses time, experiences, and even hardships to build our inner strength, shape our character, and deepen our spiritual maturity. These qualities, although often invisible to the world, are the very things that enable us to handle the weight of new opportunities with grace and wisdom. The process of building inner strength is not immediate. Just as a building needs a solid foundation to support its structure, so too does our life need a deep inner strength to carry the weight of responsibility that comes with new opportunities. It is easy to think of opportunities only in terms of external success, such as promotions, recognition, or new relationships. But these external things often rely on our ability to manage and sustain them from within. Without the inner strength to handle the pressures and challenges that come with new opportunities, we could easily be overwhelmed or fall short of fulfilling what has been entrusted to us. God knows that for us to step into new opportunities with confidence and effectiveness, we must be anchored in a strong inner foundation. He understands that the external success we seek can only be truly effective when supported by a character that is grounded in faith, patience, humility, and perseverance. This inner strength doesn't come overnight. It is developed over time as we trust God through various seasons of life. The Bible tells us that the testing of your faith produces perseverance, James 1:03. This perseverance is a vital part of building the strength we need for new opportunities. Just as a muscle grows stronger when it is stretched and used, our character is refined through the challenges and trials we face. Without trials, we would not learn to persevere. Without perseverance, we would lack the endurance to handle the demands of new responsibilities. God uses the challenges of life to grow us from the inside out, teaching us how to endure hardship with faith and how to trust Him when the way seems uncertain. This process of growth and development may not always be comfortable, but it is necessary for the opportunities ahead. In addition to building resilience through challenges, God also develops our character. Character is the bedrock of our success in life, and it is what enables us to handle success and responsibility without becoming prideful or self-serving. In moments of struggle, God teaches us humility, patience, and self-control, qualities that are essential for long-term success. When we are faced with new opportunities, it's our character that allows us to step into them with integrity, wisdom, and a heart that seeks to serve others. Character is what ensures that we don't just seek personal gain, but that we approach every opportunity with a desire to do good, be faithful, and glorify God through our actions. God doesn't just use external circumstances to build character. He uses His Word, prayer, and the Holy Spirit to work within us, refining us into the person He wants us to be. Through regular time spent in prayer and meditation on God's Word, our hearts are aligned with His will and our minds are transformed. As we grow spiritually, we become more attuned to God's voice, which enables us to make wise decisions and handle the opportunities that come our way with discernment. Spiritual maturity is another key element in building the inner strength needed for new opportunities. Maturity in our walk with God enables us to see beyond the immediate challenges and to understand the greater purpose behind them. A spiritually mature person does not react impulsively or emotionally to challenges, but responds with patience and trust in God's plan. They understand that their life is not their own. They are instruments of God's will, and their success is ultimately for His glory. This maturity allows us to step into new opportunities with the right perspective, knowing that we are part of a bigger picture. Furthermore, spiritual maturity enables us to recognize that our abilities and talents are gifts from God, not something to boast about. It helps us to stay humble and dependent on God, even when we are given great opportunities. Without spiritual maturity, we may become prideful or overconfident in our abilities, which can lead to failure or disappointment. But when we are spiritually mature, we understand that every good thing comes from God, and we use our opportunities to serve others and honor Him. As we step into new opportunities, we also need the courage to embrace responsibility. It's easy to desire success, but with success comes the weight of responsibility. Responsibility requires wisdom, patience, and the ability to make decisions that affect not just ourselves, but others as well. When we are not ready for the responsibility that comes with new opportunities, we may buckle under the pressure. However, when we have built inner strength, developed character, and grown spiritually, we are prepared to carry the weight of responsibility without losing our sense of peace or purpose. God also uses time to build this strength. He doesn't rush the process. Instead, He works in His perfect timing, allowing us to experience seasons of growth, waiting, and preparation. Just as an athlete must train for years before they are ready to compete at the highest level, so too must we be prepared over time to handle the great opportunities God has planned for us. During seasons of waiting, we may feel frustrated or unsure, but God is at work, building in us the strength, character, and spiritual maturity we need to succeed. In conclusion, new opportunities require a strong inner foundation. God uses time, experiences, and challenges to build that foundation within us. Through these experiences, He develops our inner strength, refines our character, and increases our spiritual maturity. When the time comes for us to step into new opportunities, we will be ready, not because of our external talents or achievements, but because of the inner strength that God has cultivated in us. With that foundation, we can confidently face the challenges ahead, knowing that we have been divinely prepared for the responsibilities that come with new opportunities. Opportunities often come when we least expect them, often wrapped in uncertainty. The timing may not always align with our personal plans or desires, and the circumstances surrounding them might seem unclear or unpredictable. This uncertainty can easily lead us to hesitation or doubt. We may feel ill-prepared or unsure if we are ready to step into what is being presented to us. However, the key to embracing these opportunities lies in trusting God's timing, knowing that He is never late, and that His preparation ensures we are equipped to seize the right opportunity at the right time. We tend to desire certainty. We want to know exactly when and how things will unfold. We prefer having a clear roadmap for our lives, and when that map isn't available, we can feel anxious, unsure, and sometimes even paralyzed. But God's ways are higher than ours, and He operates outside of the confines of our timelines. Often the opportunities He places before us are not delivered on our schedule, but in His perfect timing. It's in those moments of uncertainty that we are called to trust, not in our own understanding, but in God's faithfulness. One of the most important aspects of trusting God's timing is knowing that He is never late. When we think of timing, we often see it from our limited perspective. we may believe that we are running out of time, that we missed our chance, or that we're not where we should be. But God operates outside of the limitations of time. He doesn't operate based on our clock or calendar, but on His perfect plan for us. What might seem like a delay to us is actually God positioning us exactly where we need to be. His timing is always precise, and He knows exactly when to bring the right opportunity into our lives, fully aligned with His purpose for us. Consider the story of Joseph in the Bible. Joseph had a dream at a young age that he would one day rule over his brothers, but the path to that fulfillment was filled with hardship, uncertainty, and delays. He was sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. But through all these struggles, God was preparing him. The timing of Joseph's rise to power did not happen immediately after his dream. It took years, filled with setbacks and challenges. But God's preparation was at work during every moment. And when the time was right, Joseph was not only equipped to step into the opportunity that came before him, but was also able to use his position to save nations and fulfill God's larger plan. In the end, Joseph was able to see that God's timing, though different from his own expectations, was perfect. The truth is, opportunities often come when we are least prepared in our own eyes. We may feel like we need more experience, more resources, or more time to get ready, but God's preparation doesn't always follow the timeline we set. Instead, He works in ways that ensure we are prepared for what lies ahead, even when we don't fully realize it. There are moments when the opportunity comes, and we feel completely unready. But it's precisely in these moments that God's timing becomes a powerful reminder that His grace, wisdom, and strength are more than enough to carry us through. Trusting God's timing also means embracing the uncertainty that comes with stepping into the unknown. It's easy to wait for everything to be clear before taking action. However, faith often requires us to move forward without seeing the full picture. When we trust God's timing, we take the first step, even when the path isn't entirely visible. It's in this space of uncertainty that we learn to lean fully on God's direction and trust that He is leading us step by step. Habakkuk, for example, the calling of the disciples. Jesus invited them to follow Him, but they didn't have all the answers up front. They didn't know exactly what they were stepping into, and their journey with Him would lead them to challenges they never anticipated. Yet, in their uncertainty, they trusted Jesus, and as they followed Him, He led them to the opportunities and callings He had prepared for them. They didn't wait for everything to make sense before taking action. Instead, they trusted in the timing and leading of God, and as a result, they were part of world-changing moments. The reality is that we may never feel fully ready for the opportunities that come our way. But God doesn't call us to wait for ideal conditions or perfect preparedness. He calls us to trust in His timing and take the step of faith when He opens the door. In doing so, we can be confident that when the opportunity comes, we will have been divinely prepared to step into it with the skills, wisdom, and faith we need. The key to stepping into new opportunities is trusting that God's timing is always perfect. Even when uncertainty looms, we must remember that God's preparation has already been working in us. The challenges, the lessons, and the experiences we have had up until this moment are part of what He has been using to get us ready. When the door opens, we may not see it coming, but we can step forward with confidence, knowing that God is never late and that He has equipped us for exactly what He has called us to do. Ultimately, it's about trusting that God is in control, even when we can't see the full picture. He knows the right time to bring the opportunity and the right moment for us to step into it. Our job is to walk in faith, knowing that His timing and His preparation are perfectly designed for the purpose He has for us. When we trust in His perfect timing, we can step into opportunities with assurance, ready to embrace all that He has for us. God's favor is one of the most powerful and unexplainable forces in our lives. It is a gift that we cannot earn, nor can we fully comprehend, yet it has the profound ability to open doors, position us for success, and create opportunities that would otherwise be out of our reach. Often, before the doors of opportunity even open, God's favor goes before us, preparing the way. His favor doesn't come because we deserve it. It is simply because He is a loving and gracious God who desires to see us fulfill the purpose He has set before us. When we align ourselves with His will, His favor positions us in the right place at the right time, and new opportunities naturally unfold as part of His divine plan. Unlike the favor of people, which is often conditional and based on merit, God's favor is unearned and unexplainable. It's not based on our ability, our good works, or how much we deserve it. It is a gift from God, bestowed upon us out of His grace and love. The Bible reminds us time and time again that God's favor is something we can't manufacture. It's something that He chooses to pour out on us according to His will as we seek to live in alignment with His purpose for our lives. This favor is not a reward for perfection, but a demonstration of God's goodness and His desire to see us thrive in the opportunities He has prepared for us. One of the most beautiful aspects of God's favor is that it often goes ahead of us, preparing the way before we even realize what's coming. We might walk into a situation thinking it's just another day, yet God's favor is positioning us to meet the right people, to be in the right place, or to have the right conversation. God's favor opens doors that we never could have opened on our own and makes a way where there seems to be no way. We may not always understand how or why we are in the right place at the right time, but when we look back, we can often trace the fingerprints of God's favor on the circumstances leading to the opportunity. Take, for example, the story of Esther. She was an orphan, an outsider in a foreign kingdom, yet God's favor placed her in a position to save her people. The circumstances that led to her being chosen as queen were far beyond what Esther could have planned for herself. But God's favor went before her, positioning her in the right place at the right time to carry out His purpose. At the moment, Esther may not have understood the significance of her position, but when the time came, she was ready to step into the opportunity, because God's favor had positioned her for such a time as that. This principle is true for all of us. When God's favor is on our lives, it positions us in ways that make it easier to step into new opportunities. His favor opens doors that seem impossible to open, provides resources and relationships we never expected, and even gives us favor with people who can make things happen. It's as if God arranges the circumstances of our lives so that when an opportunity presents itself, we are already in the perfect position to step into it. It's not about us trying to force open doors. It's about recognizing that God has already gone ahead of us, preparing the way. However, it's important to remember that God's favor is intricately tied to His purpose for our lives. When we align ourselves with God's will and seek to live in obedience to Him, we place ourselves in a position to receive His favor. God's favor is not simply about gaining personal success, wealth, or recognition. It's about being positioned to fulfill the divine purpose He has for us. When we align our hearts with His purpose, the opportunities that come our way are not just random or self-serving. They are opportunities to serve others, to make a difference, and to honor God in the process. Just as God's favor prepares the way, it also serves as an invitation to move forward into the opportunities He has prepared. It's a call to step out in faith and trust that God is leading us to something greater. When God's favor opens doors, it's not a sign to stay where we are, but an invitation to walk through those doors and embrace the future He has for us. The favor of God in this sense is a challenge to act boldly, step forward confidently, and trust that He will continue to guide us every step of the way. In the life of David, we see a powerful example of how God's favor preceded the opportunity to become king. David was a young shepherd, overlooked by his family, yet God's favor rested upon him. When Samuel came to anoint the next king of Israel, it wasn't the outwardly impressive sons of Jesse who were chosen. It was David, the one no one thought of, the one out in the field. God's favor was upon him, and it led him into the greatest opportunity of his life, becoming the king of Israel. Despite his humble beginnings, God's favor positioned David for the future He had prepared for him. And when the time was right, David stepped into that opportunity and became one of the greatest kings Israel had ever known. God's favor doesn't just give us an advantage in the world. It gives us the strength, wisdom, and courage to walk into the opportunities He has prepared for us. His favor is a reminder that no matter where we come from or what we've been through, we are never too small, too weak, or too unqualified for the purposes He has for us. When God's favor is on us, we can be sure that He has positioned us exactly where we need to be. And when the doors of opportunity open, we are equipped to walk through them. Ultimately, God's favor is a beautiful, unearned invitation to move forward into the opportunities He has designed for us. It goes before us, preparing the way, positioning us at the right time and in the right place. When we align ourselves with God's will, His favor will naturally lead us into new opportunities, and with it comes the confidence that He has already equipped us for what lies ahead. The favor of God is not just a blessing, it is the invitation to walk boldly into the future He has already prepared for us. In conclusion, understand this profound truth. The opportunities God has prepared for you are not accidents. They are divinely orchestrated moments meant to elevate you to a higher level. But before you step into them, you must recognize that the journey toward these opportunities is a process, one that is intricately designed by God Himself. It is a process of preparation, transformation, and alignment with His will. God doesn't just give you opportunities. He positions you, equips you, and strengthens you so that when the door opens, you are not just ready, you are more than capable of stepping into the fullness of what He has for you. As you navigate this journey, remember that God's preparation is not a moment, it is a continuous process. The trials, the waiting, the vision, the favor, each of these is a divine tool that shapes you into the person who can handle the weight of the opportunities God has for you. Embrace uncertainty, trust in His perfect timing, and understand that His favor will always go before you, positioning you for success. You are not called to live by chance or by accident. You are called to live by divine purpose. And as you align yourself with that purpose, know this: every step you take, every challenge you face, every season you walk through, God is using it all to prepare you for the opportunities that are already waiting for you. The doors will open not because of your own striving, but because of the favor of God that rests upon your life. So walk in confidence. Walk in faith. Trust that God is never late. And when the right opportunity comes, you will be ready to step through it, equipped, empowered, and ready to fulfill the divine destiny He has set before you. Your future is already prepared. The question is, will you trust God enough to walk into it?